Making the best choices. Hey, it's Ryan Parenti here, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the secrets to finding your path through making the right choices. Okay, so basically there's two different types of choices. One of them would be the hard right, as I'm calling it. So it's basically the choice that is, it's usually the best choice, and it's also usually the hardest choice. For example, it's choosing to avoid unhealthy food. That's usually the hardest choice, to resist something that might taste good, but is just really unhealthy for you. So that's the hard right. And then we have the easy wrong. So this is usually the easy choice that leads to an undesirable result. A lot of times it's really easy to, you know, to skip on something that is not it's not easy to choose the right choice every time. So you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, so what's new here? What is exactly, what am I trying to say here? Okay, there's the right choices, obviously, eating healthy is good, I know. Eating wrong, it's unhealthy, I know that. But here's what's new. Basically, choices obviously have consequences, but not only the ones that you think. There's much more consequences happening when you make a simple choice. It actually has more of a snowball effect. It builds on it and builds on it and builds on it, and it echoes and echoes for quite a while. So basically, when you choose the easy wrong, when you choose to succumb and do something that is not in your best interest, you become weaker in your ability to resist that in the future. And that builds on itself as well. So then you end up choosing that again, because oh well, once I choose to eat unhealthy once, it becomes really easy to choose to do it again, and then it's even easier to do it again, and then it's even easier to do it again, and it builds on it and builds on it and builds on it. So these choices don't have just the direct consequence of it being unhealthy, but they also have this hidden consequence of you being much more likely to do it in the future. So consequently, when you choose the hard right, you make it easier and easier to resist things that are not good for you. So if I resist that, piece of unhealthy food, for example, I'm making it that much easier to resist it in the future. And then once I resist it again, it's that much easier. So it strengthens me every time. So here's the easy wrong in detail. Basically, so what happens is, let's say, for example, you're at a birthday party. Very common that people will serve cake at a birthday party. So you eat a piece of cake. Okay, no big deal. Maybe you don't, assuming that you don't normally eat cake, okay? So you go against your normal diet, your normal eating habits, and you eat cake. Well, then what you're going to find is that it's that much harder. It's just a little bit harder to resist cake the next time. So for the next time, maybe you're like, oh, that cake was really good. Maybe you'll go out and buy a cake. What I'm saying is that after you succumb, after you give in, it's that much easier to give in again, and you find it harder to resist it next time. So then what happens is you eat a little bit more. You're like, oh, well, I'll just eat a little bit more. But then it's even harder to resist eating the cake next time. So it builds on itself, and then you're losing your freedom of choice because it's becoming a destructive pattern. So basically what happens is it's like a weakening decision. The easy wrong is a decision that weakens you. So let's look at the hard right in detail. Basically, in the same exact situation, let's say you're at a birthday party and you resist eating the cake. Well, what happens then is you find it easier to resist cake next time. There's a very little chance that you're going to go out and buy cake, because you just resisted it. So then, you're going to eat less of these unhealthy foods. And then of course, is going to make it so it's even easier to resist these types of things. And then you're gaining your freedom of choice because you haven't created a pattern that is unhealthy for you. So, and it's also strengthened your ability to do the best thing in your life. And that's really what it's about, thing is that for a lot of people, they can just like, oh, well, I'll just cheat on it, this one time. But what I'm basically saying in here is that choice to, cheat on your values just once is actually echoes a lot more than you would think, and you're going to find that it's going to make it a lot harder in the future for you. So it's a lot easier, as weird as it sounds, to make the hard right, which is, choosing the best thing for your life. So here's how you can make it easy to choose the hard right. Well, basically, you know that you're not only making the right choice for your life today, but you're also setting yourself up to make the best choice for tomorrow. So that makes it easy, instead of just like, a lot of times that we can think that, choices do not have consequences. But that's untrue. When we choose to do something, exactly as I described here, it makes you weaker in terms of your decision making in the future. So you always want to choose the hard right and the strengthening decision that makes your ability to gain freedom, personal choice in your life easier. So this is how you can make it easier. That by making the right choice today, it's going to be much easier to do that tomorrow. So then strengthening your ability to have freedom in your life and avoiding destructive patterns, and also you avoid forming destructive habits by doing this. So basically, you're making yourself stronger in your life because you're developing freedom of choice, the ability to, because when we have developed destructive patterns, it's really hard to have, freedom of choice in that. So you're avoiding all that when you choose the hard right. And this is how you can, this is all information you can use when you're put in that situation where like, oh, should I succumb? That these are all the things that is making it easy for you to choose the hard right, because you're avoiding all the negative things. And then you're going to find that it's much easier to enjoy life more because you're always making today better and tomorrow better just by simply, choosing the hard right. So what I suggest you do is next time you're put in a situation that you are faced with a choice, should I choose the easy wrong or the hard right? Just try it. Choose the hard right decision. Resist that temptation, whatever it may be, and just experiment with it. See how this works for you, and I know you're going to have an amazing results. All right, well, enjoy.